Holistic Diabetes Solution Summit. And today we have an amazing guest with us. And this is Professor George Grant. And just a little bit of information about Professor George Grant is he's known as the caring professor. I've actually had the pleasure of knowing this man for over 25 years. We met 25 years ago and we're doing speaking engagements back then, promoting wellness. But what is so amazing about George Grant is not only is he a professor, and not only is his background extensive in wellness and toxicology and immune system healing, but more recently, there's a huge interest, and his practice with his clients is so based on biofeedback, of course, nutrition and stress management. What's really interesting and amazing about George Grant is that he's written 12 books, celebrity status. He's written with hundreds of celebrity status experts. He has been in over 250, I'm going to say, published articles, and already over 400 papers in scientific journals and organizations. So, George, are you there?
I'm here. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
That's great. It's so exciting to have you here because I know how passionate you are about wellness, the immune system, and helping people with diabetes. So today I'm really excited because I think that our audience and our viewers are going to get so much from you today. So would you like to introduce a little bit more about your background and how you became interested in the area of wellness and diabetes?
I became interested in wellness and diabetes since age 18 years old when my mom had a heart attack, and also she had diabetes. She had hypertension in her early 40s, and she passed away, unfortunately, when I was 18 years old. And my father had the same dilemma in his early 60s. Now today I'm 69 young, and touch wood, I do not have any diabetes. I don't have any problems. And, against all odds, I'm planning to live till age 101, and maybe if God give me the life till 111, I'll help people as well. So I think there's a science called genetics, and there's a science called epigenetics. So it's not just the genes that you have, it's how you express them. You can turn the genes on or off. It's been known now that despite the fact that you have bad genes from both parents and both grandparents, you can still live healthier, and I'm just the proof for that. I feel young. I feel in my 50s, not late 60s. And next year I'm going to be 70. Like, hello.
And I see you everywhere. I mean, we're out at a lot of events together, and you don't quit.
I know. I have as much energy as you have. And you forgot to tell the audience, since we worked 25 years ago, you were only under 20 at that time. So you forgot to mention that.
Oh, there you go. And you just a year older.
Yeah, no, not yet.
But you feel like only a year older, right?
Yes.
And that's what it's all about, healing from the inside out.
Yes.
And, our summit is really about giving people solutions.
Yes.
We focus so much on the issues, and they're real, and we know what they are. We understand what the complications are. And I think you're all about intercepting. I think you're about not just preventing and avoiding them, but I think restoring. I mean, I've seen it, restoring, and also reversing where possible. I mean, there's scar tissues when you have heart attacks, and there's things like this. But
100%.
in so many cases, right? So many cases, especially with type 2 diabetes, we have, out of all the issues that we can have, the most choice, depending on the choices that we make. We want to be on the good side of health or the not so good side of health. Those are conscious choices that we're making every day. So let's talk about more how you help people with solutions.
This is why we call our lectures, Cheryl, wellness by choice, not by chance. You cannot live your life to chance. So our motto is we care, we serve, we educate. We do not medicate, operate, vaccinate, irradiate, or irritate. Okay, the key is that we believe in prevention is better than intervention. Self-care is better than crisis care.
Yes.
So that's the focus. We try to get down to the root cause of the discomfort of this client to see exactly if they have diabetes. Most likely is their bad food choices. So I ask them first to do is to go to our website, academyofwellness.com, click on the section called Wellness IQ to see what they eat, what they don't eat, and what's eating them from the inside for stress.
Yes.
Because when you're under stress, you tend to have a choice of bad food, comfort food, that most likely it's empty calories. And as you know, we've been hijacked by food companies to actually eat the wrong kind of food at the wrong time of the day. And then we crave those foods. And then I'm talking about soft drinks, I'm talking about the French fries, the fast food, and all of this bad, the juices and the sweeteners. We can go on and on. I would need 12 hours to tell you about all of the bad foods that we have. As a food scientist, as a nutritionist, and somebody who has done lots of research in this field, we really have to watch what we eat. It's very important, because that's where, the problem with my parents and grandparents, they didn't pay attention to the food that they eat, and they became obese. And there's a connection now between obesity and diabetes. In fact, I call it diabesity. It's diabetes plus obesity called diabesity, which is becoming now a globicity. It's a global problem. It's not just in Ontario. It's not in Toronto. It's not in Canada. It's not in the US. In fact, in 3 days, I'm heading to St. Lucia.
Yes.
And they happen to have, along with the other Caribbean countries, the highest diabetes percentage in the world. Why? It's hot countries, and they tend to drink lots of soft drinks and lots of juices. And I tell them, do not drink juices. God created the apple or the orange that has the fiber to normalize blood sugar. But when you drink the juice, you get a spike, an instant spike, and followed by a dip. And this is what we call insulin resistance, right?
Yes.
So they drink the soft drinks and the juices, and they eat lots of fruits. I've seen somebody eating 3 or 4 mangoes and 3 or 4 papaya. I said, these are good for you, but 1 or 2 is all you need for the whole day, not in one sitting. Because that's fructose, which can cause the same problem as eating, the sugar and all of the other, sucrose and refined sugar.
Well, I know that when we look at the quality of foods and the processing of foods, and our bodies aren't able to, they're not designed to break down how the foods are processed. And because of all the additives and preservatives and all these things, our bodies don't know what to do with it.
Exactly.
But once they're in the bloodstream, they're in there. So
exactly. And they become very harmful, and they can cause leaky gut. They affect the pancreas, and they affect the immune system, and then they affect the gut bacteria. Now, there's a new science of medicine. I know you know this, Cheryl, about functional medicine, which is focusing on the gut, the bacteria in the gut, and integrative medicine, balancing the body's, all of the medication with the supplements, with all of the stuff, because we're not just born to take insulin and glyburide and metformin and lactose and all of the stuff to control blood sugar. In fact, I have so many cases study here I can show you. I mean, this is a case here back in 1998, and it was done right here in Toronto.
Yes, at Sunnybrook. At Sunnybrook,
the largest hospital here in Canada, actually. So we had 99, I'm not sure they can see this or not, 99% clogged arteries. He had diabetes, 3 medications for diabetes, and his blood sugar was over 10. Hemoglobin A1C was 12. It's supposed to be under 6.
Right.
With the meds did not actually do anything for this guy. And then it was taken all together for the heart and for the blood pressure and for diabetes, 27 meds. I mean, the doctors, they did everything that they can do for him based on their knowledge, okay? And then they did the 2 bypass surgeries, they did 2 stents, but the guy still had angina, tachycardia, his blood sugar is not controlled, his blood pressure was 145 over 100 with 3 antihypertensives.
And and that just and also to your point, when you do have stents or whatever put in, there's no guarantee that opens it up for the moment in time, but there's no guarantee that you're not going to have other issues with arteries. Yeah,
exactly, because if you put the stents, it's going to keep it clean, but for how long? A year? And then you go back and eat the French fries, you drink the soda. By the way, he was drinking soda, but I told him, how can you drink soda and you have diabetes? He said, no, I drink diet soda. I said, actually, diet soda for diabetics, in fact, is worse than regular soda because of the aspartame. People have the false sense of security that their blood sugar is controlled and they're going to lose weight. He was overweight. Now, this is when I saw him at 99% clogged arteries. This is what happened in 9 months, 50% open. Because I asked him, what do you have for breakfast? He said, nothing, doc, just I eat 6 strips of bacon and 3 eggs fried in the bacon fat. And that's what I like to do every morning. I said, once a week? He said, no, I do this every day. I said, for a year, for 2 years? He said, no, I did it for 27 years.
Wow.
I said, for 27 years, you did not stop eating bacon and eggs? And I said, what do you have for lunch? He said, sometimes fast food, sometimes French fries, sometimes pork. So he was eating the wrong stuff at the wrong time. He was overweight. He has blood sugar very high hypertension, blood pressure, hypertension. And the medication is not doing anything. The bypass and the stent is not doing anything for him. He's not feeling well. So all I've done is just help him with the natural remedies, the proper eating habit. I recommend to eat salads instead of the bacon. And instead of eating, the eggs and all of this stuff, he just have homemade porridge with almond milk, because he was eating lots of dairy, cow's milk and cheese and so on, very high fat. As soon as he turned into natural remedies, within 9 months, Cheryl, his blood sugar was under 6, hemoglobin A1C 5.5, and he has no tachycardia. No
From 12.
Yes. Yes, half. Well, 9 months. We're talking about under 1 year here.
Yeah.
All we did is just change his diet. I did the biofeedback before and after, as was shown right here. Biofeedback.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about biofeedback? Because that's a very, very unique area that
Yes.
you're very passionate about. And
Yes.
I want our listeners to understand what it is too.
Okay, basically, the biofeedback is very simple test. Is basically you detect the biomeridians, the frequency in the body, by holding like a small rod, or you're putting your hands on a plate, and then it will actually go through your body meridians and determine the frequency of every organ. It correlates with blood tests by almost 95%. So we recommend the blood test. That's the gold standard. And we bring the blood test in, and we put the biofeedback in, and they correlate with each other by almost like 93, 95%. Okay, so we do this, and then we can measure this, the same person there after, let's say, 4 months, 6 months, like you and I doing a study right now for people who have some problem with sleep and so on. That's what we do. So the biofeedback give you an indication if they change their diet, they change their lifestyle, and then I send them back to the physician to reduce their medications accordingly. We do not never ask anybody to reduce medications or stop medications. We never do that. You and I know that better, right? So they send him back to the physician. In fact, his own physician right now is not giving him any medication. He's only on maintenance dosage, less than 3 or 4 medications to control his blood pressure, blood sugar. But now he's not taking any more extra, like 27 medication like he was doing before we did the study. And that's also with the 8,800 clients that we have.
That's amazing. So with the gift of the solution that we're talking about today with biofeedback, what you're saying is the frequency, which is throughout the body, it indicates, and I've seen it, which is pretty amazing, because you've done it for me, and I'm familiar with that with our studies. But what that does is it gives a frequency of the organs and the tissues in the body. And I know that you can tell if somebody had a dental x-ray the day before, or a mammogram, or any type of radiation, and where from the results of this of the biofeedback. So the solution then, the one tip, tool, or solution that you're offering our audience today would be along the food lines that you've spoken about, and swapping things in and out. But what would be, if you could give the top 2 tips today for solutions, what would they be? We want to avoid anything that is processed, especially with lots of sugar. Sugar is hidden in so many areas in our diet right now, in our food. It's in ketchup, it's in juices, especially high fructose corn syrup. This is the one that is really dangerous for somebody who's diabetics, also pre-diabetics. In fact, if you calculate how many pre-diabetics in the world, I would guesstimate to be 50%. Oh, yes. Half our population are pre-diabetic, and they don't even know it until they go to the physician, and then they tell them, oh, watch out, your parents have diabetes, you may have it, and your blood sugar is high. But you see, then what do we do then? What is the answer here? Is to watch what we eat and watch what we don't eat. So instead of having sugary cereal, which has high fructose corn syrup, instead of having lots of soft drinks, I recommend not to drink any soft drinks, period. Not diet, not regular. In fact, these are the worst thing that you can put in your mouth. So what should people drink? The best drink that we should have is pure water, alkaline water. That's the best drink, because 80% of my clients are dehydrated. They do not drink enough water. We need 2.5 liters of water per day, 8 to 10 glasses of water per day. The average client, they drink 4 glasses and 4 cups of coffee, or 2 glasses of soda. That's not balance. See, balance is wellness. Imbalance is illness. So we want to get back from imbalance, illness, to wellness. So and also excessive things and deficiencies are equally imbalanced. Exactly, 100%. You see, we're bombarded by pesticides. We're bombarded by all of the high sugar content, high fructose corn syrup in our food,
high flour, like the flour in our bread, in our cereal, it's causing problem not only with celiac and gut dysbiosis, but with so many other problems like fatty liver, for instance. I see now mostly fatty liver in middle-aged clients. Why would they have fatty liver? They do not drink alcohol, sometimes too much medications, sometimes the alcohol can cause that. But fast food, especially French fries, I do not recommend people to eat French fries, period.
What do you suggest in place of French fries for people?
You can have baked potato, like a sweet potato, like in the oven, not in deep fried oil, because this oil is actually vegetable oil that's not, it never be changed, and it's only scooped, so it can be actually broken down, forming free radicals, cancer-causing chemicals in the oil. That, and the French fries, if you leave it for 20 minutes, it forms that white fat on the top of the French fries. That's why they have to throw it every 25 minutes or half an hour, because it's not palatable. It's not even good looking at all. And you see, it may smell good, but once inside your body, this is the beginning of imbalance in the body in
Absolutely.
terms of gut problems. And our gut health, by the way, is brain health, is pancreas health. And that's what we see in the biofeedback. We don't just measure pancreas and liver and kidney. We measure all of the organs in the body. We see in color how they are. And we hope it's going to be green. But you and I saw, we had many young clients who have problems because of the eating habits. So try to address this. So if your listeners go to Wellness IQ at academyofwellness.com, they're going to see the questionnaire. Of course, they should read our books that we've written together, because you've written an excellent chapters on the H3 book on diabetes. And then you're not only the expert in diabetes, but you already have diabetes. So you talk from experience here. So if they read your chapter and read my chapter has this Wellness IQ in there. And the tips from A to Z, or A to Z, if you live in Canada, to actually help you to recover from blood pressure, diabetes, and all of this stuff naturally and live healthy to 101. That's really what we did in this book. And in the last book, that's number 12, I actually helped them to live healthy to 111. Why? Because somebody in the States lived now to 103. Okay, you can see his story on YouTube. Now, nobody yet has lived to 111, as far as I know. So this is the chapter now about how to live healthy to 111. And as you mentioned before in the introduction, we've written books with Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield. We've written books with Brian Tracy. I don't like to go on do all my accolades at this point, but we've written lots of books. We've written books on ADD and ADHD and autism. And you already know Sam Hassan, his son has autism.
Yes.
We helped him a lot now to improve. He actually referred to the whole Autistic Association now to see us because of his improvement for his own son.
Which is amazing. So I know years ago, and our listeners may be familiar with biological terrain assessments.
100%. I do it too. BAT. Yes. Sorry, BTA. Biological assess. BTA.
Yeah, BTA. And I know that years ago I brought in practitioners as associates in the clinics there on Yonge Street in Toronto. Wow, it seems like so long ago. But I know that with the biological terrain assessments, we were doing saliva.
Yes,
we were doing pH and urine. We were doing and blood. So we were doing all the testing and looking at oxidation, levels. And does the biofeedback replace the biological terrain, or do they do?
It does, because exactly, it does actually give you the pH. And by the way, Dr. Cheryl, 85% of my clients that I test, they're acidic, under 6.8. It's supposed to be 7.35. Close to, as you know, 7 is neutral. Above 7 is alkaline. 80 to 85% of my clients are under 7, which is 6.8 or lower. Why? Right. Because their food is bread, sugar, cakes, pastries, soft drinks, all of this stuff. In fact, I'm working with the top 10 Olympic athletes in Canada and the top 10 in the US and the top 10 in the Caribbean countries.
Yes.
And if their pH is under 7.3, I tell them not to compete because they produce lactic acid that causes cramps.
Right.
And so in fact, they have to be 7.35 before they compete. And most of my clients, my athletes who come to see me, if they're 7.1, I ask them, what did you do? I just had one beer, or I had one juice. I said, you cannot have this before the competition. You cannot have juice or beer or alcohol before the competition. Why? It causes imbalance in the body, and they push their body to the maximum limit physically.
Yeah.
You cannot be off this much. But as you know, as you've seen in my clinic, in our wellness centers, our clients are, I say, 80 to 85% acidic, 85% are dehydrated.
Yes.
And guess what? 80 to 85% are hypoxic, lack of O2, because they breathe from the chest, not from the diaphragm.
Right.
So if they have low oxygen, low O2, low H2O, and low pH, like
You'll have a low life level.
Exactly. And that's
and a high disease level.
Exactly.
And a high complication level.
100%. And that's why they do not feel, that's full sense of well-being and high energy, and they need naps, and they feel migraines. And then if they have migraines and they go to the doctor, well, doctors only prescribe meds. They do not go through the whole spectrum about healthy cells, makes healthy tissues, makes the healthy organs, makes the healthy systems, makes the healthy bodies. They don't go from the bottom up. They go from the top down, unfortunately. But I do not blame doctors on this. Why? That's their training in the medical school. Okay, I taught in the faculty of pharmacy for many years. I've been working for Health Canada for 10 years. I've been in private practice for 25 years. I'm 69. I've been working 40 plus years in this field. So I can tell you, prevention is better than intervention.
Absolutely.
And self-care is better than crisis care. In fact, if we follow this rule, we'll reduce by spending by half. And that will actually improve our GNP. I hope our politicians listen to this, because I actually propose that we give every Canadian $5,000 health grant if they can only go to the physician and to a nurse one time a year for health checkup, and then one time a year if they need any hospital care. So if we do that, we reduce the frivolous, the doctor's visits and then hospital visits and all of the stuff that you do for X-ray and MRI and CAT scan. We can reduce the budget and put it on somebody like you and I who do prevention, not intervention. Because I'm sure you can help people with diabetes much better than any. We're not competing with any physician here. We're not in competition at all. They are in their field, we are in our field. We're in the focus on prevention, they focus on intervention. So I think when I actually did this thing here about heart ease instead of heart disease, it explained all of this in there. So it's all about preventing the disease from the root cause. What is that you eat that causes you diabetes or blood pressure? So that's what we focus on. What is it that you eat that causes you to be obese? If we focus on obesity, then we can actually solve 50% of all of the healthcare costs. And that's what we're hoping to do here. I hope some of the politicians can listen to this podcast and practice giving healthcare grants to these people that we can actually take care of their own health. Now, if I give you $5,000, Cheryl, would you personally, not as a doctor now, as a citizen, would you take care of your health more?
Absolutely.
And at the same time, when they come and visit you and me, they're covered under extended coverage under OHIP, under our Ontario Health Plan. Why? Because they come to us twice a year or once a year. We guide them. If they are missing the road here, we can go back and say, okay, well, let's go back to basics. Let's go back to what you eat and what you don't eat. So
what I'm hearing is the tips and the solutions that we can give people. You've talked about some of the testing. We've talked about biological terrain, but we've talked about biofeedback. So that would be really great for people to be aware of that. But what I'm hearing your takeaways is that, and I'm going to quote you. You say, watch what you put in your system. Watch what you eat. Could I take that a step further? Because I believe that it looks at making conscious choices that nurture your immune system and your health. To in turn help to stabilize blood sugar levels and normalize them. So being consciously aware of the foods that you're choosing and knowing that you have 100% of the choice of what you're choosing.
That's the key, the awareness. So when we do the biofeedback test here, we increase the awareness of what's happening inside their body.
Right.
And then we teach them how to live healthy to 101. In fact, your viewers and your listeners can download this book for free. www.your101ways.com.
We'll put that on the website for people, okay?
Please do that. And then if they're aware, as you said, and if they come to us, if they just mention the podcast with Dr. Cheryl, I'll give them half price on the biofeedback scan. So it's not going to be an exorbitant amount. Why? Because we want everybody here to be aware. We want everybody here to have awareness and consciousness about what they eat. And if we can have success stories in the future, then we're helping the whole society and the whole world now together.
Absolutely. So what I also heard you say about making choices is that to try to stay away from high fat,
Yes.
many dairy,
Yes.
and to look at the quality of the starches that we're eating. And what I heard you say was, for breakfast, a lot
Yes.
of people will revert from low carb,
Yes.
sometimes then go to excessive high fat. And fat is not our friend either. So what I heard you saying was to change out dairy for things like almond milk.
Almond milk, coconut milk.
And
Yes.
I also know that there's kefir available
Yes.
as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So I think that there's other choices. And then I believe also what you were saying was, when you're looking at fruit choices, which are very healthy, look at the raw original fruit,
Exactly.
not the juice, and look at portion size so that it's not
Portion
so
size.
much sugar at one time.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you can't have it. It just means you can't have it all at once.
Exactly. But if we have 7 to 8 vegetables per day and only 2 fruits, that's a proper balance here. But if we have 8 fruits and only 2 vegetables, we'll put our body into imbalance here. This is what happened in the Caribbean because they have the fruits in their backyard.
Well, I know that you're going to St. Lucia next
Yes.
week.
That's why I'm wearing like this.
And that's why you're wearing your shirt. And I know that you invited me to come, and it's like how
Yes.
much I would love to be there, because it's all this great mission.
Yes.
Next year I'll
Next year for sure. But you're right, Cheryl. We should really make our clients aware, conscious about what they eat.
Yes.
In fact, they can go instead of dairy, regular yogurt or kefir, to coconut yogurt, or there is lots of things available right now. And then they can go into high fiber diet. High fiber show to reduce blood sugar.
Yeah.
The average person consumes 2 to 3 grams of fiber. We need 25 grams of fiber per day.
We sure do. Yeah.
And then we need to pick up the healthy fats, like avocado is a healthy fat.
Yeah.
I'm not recommending people to go to keto and eat bacon and eat all of the bad fat, but eat avocado, eat the healthy fat, not the bad fat, because I do not recommend any bacon. I've done 6-7 papers. I've written 250 papers. 6 of them was on the harmful effect of cured meats, including hot dogs, including bacon, because they have something called nitrite as a preservative, that upon heat, it'll form nitrosamine, nitrosoethylamine, nitrosopyridine. You can Google me and look at my papers on nitrite and what it affects in terms of cancer production, in terms of causing imbalance to the gut microbiome. And if you mess with the gut bacteria, you're going to mess with everything in your body. This is where the science of functional medicine started with the Cleveland Clinic. Thanks to our friend, Dr. Mark Hyman, who did lots of work on this in this field. You can watch his YouTube videos on my website, on our website, because you're part of the website, you're part of our wellness expert. And there's lots of YouTube video on this, how to prevent diabetes naturally through functional medicine, through integrative medicine, and through lifestyle medicine. Did you know that Harvard Medical School now have a specialty in functional medicine, integrative medicine, and lifestyle medicine? You can be board certified in lifestyle medicine in the US.
It's about time.
I know. We have to
our model switching. You were saying earlier that, we have doctors here and preventive people here. I tend to really look at it not quite like that, because we've always had this model forever, and that's just how so many people are trained. And so what we need to look at is what's working with that model and what isn't. And let's take the best of tradition.
Exactly.
Let's take the best of prevention.
That's integrated.
And let's see what resonates for each person, because what works for one of your 800 clients is not going to work for the next one or the next one, because it's so individual.
100%. It all has to be individualized, and we have to spend with the clients 1 hour, not the 5 minutes, not 7 minutes or 10 minutes on write the prescription. That is sick care. I'm sorry, it's not healthcare. I'm sorry. But
no, I agree.
Our model is we only spend 7 minutes because that's the funding for. We don't blame doctors on this. We gotta blame the whole system. It's a sick care system. It's. In fact, you know what I heard today in the news, Cheryl, which I was very upset. The government of Ontario telling everybody right now, this is the flu season. Everybody go and get the flu shot, because that's the only thing that prevent. It is not the only thing that prevent the flu. Come on. We can boost the immune system naturally without having to have the flu shot.
Well, actually, what people might not know, and I'll just jump in here for a minute if that's okay, is that things like the flu shot and things like some medications will heighten blood sugar levels.
Yes.
Because we're injecting a virus and, into our bodies, and that throws things into throws. And sometimes our audience members might not be aware that those are some of the things that can cause high blood sugars when they think they're doing everything right.
Yes.
And it's an outside environmental, but yet intentional. So there are so many wonderful gems that you're sharing today. We'll have to do a second one.
And you and I are not anti-vax people. We're not here claiming uh, we should ban vaccination. We should ban, allopathic medicine. We need medicine for emergency. But when it comes to preventing disease, vaccination is not the only one. Please do not ever. I'm a toxicologist. I study toxicology. I taught toxicology not at the bachelor's level, at the master's and graduate level and the PhD level. So I know things or two about thimerosal. I'm not going to spend the whole time on vaccination and the side effect of formaldehyde and all of the sensitivity that sometimes becomes hypersensitive. But don't just put an ad on the TV and on the radio and in the paper to say that taking the flu shot is the only way to prevent from the flu. I'm sorry. If you boost your immune system naturally, you do not. I never get the flu, and I do not get vaccination. And I'm not an anti-vax. I'm not an anti-medicine. I'm sure you are too. But we have to educate the public because it's not the only method. It's one of the methods. If you have a choice.
It's definitely one of them. And I think that, there can be triggers.
Yes.
In some of these, needles and vaccinations and different shots that we're taking that can trigger things in people's certain systems that are vulnerable or more at risk of things and can put them over the end. I'll tell you though, Dr. George, that I am grateful. I am so grateful for traditional medicine and banking best here in Canada because insulin for type 1 diabetes keeps me alive because I wouldn't be alive without it. So truly, I am grateful.
Good.
However, when I look at the quality of life and lifestyle, that's 100% up to me. So I need to look at how to, because my body always with type 1 diabetes 24/7 is working against me because it can't regulate itself. So I need to be very proactive over, 200% to try to keep it balanced and take that responsibility. So I think that really looking at all the preventive measures and looking at not just the food choices, but the quality of food, the combinations, 100%. The portion size, and how many times we're eating through the day, which could be a whole other conversation. But I want to thank you so much because I think our audience members will learn something new with the biofeedback. I think they'll understand too that, what, there are some simple swap outs and some simple choices that if we start with some simple tweaks, that's a really good way to get some solutions happening.
Thank you so much.
And can I thank you for joining us?
Thank you.